Hello, my name is Chloe, welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing to you my December book haul. So I was in the amazingly fortunate position to get a lot of Christmas presents, many of them which books. What I will say though, just before we get started, is this book haul isn't all of my Christmas presents, and that is because I went away to America, as a lot of you will know, for Christmas, so I didn't get some of my bookish presents until the 8th or 9th of January. For that reason, any books that I received after December will be in my January book haul, which will also include my birthday presents. So, you know, it gets a bit muddled for me at this time of year, but all of the books here I received or bought myself in December. If you got me a Christmas present and it doesn't appear in this haul and you're concerned, I have opened all of the extra presents in my vlogs, so hopefully you'll have seen it there. If you do want to just reach out and double check, that is absolutely fine. And I have received some parcels that I haven't opened that arrived between the 4th and the 7th of January. So if one of those is a Christmas present and you'd like me to open it, get in touch, tell me what day it arrived, but otherwise I'll be saving them for my birthday. I think I've covered everything. So I just wanted to start off with the one book I got myself on BOOKSWAP this month, that being The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward. I wasn't really using BOOKSWAP, and that's because I had my 2 trips away and didn't want to guarantee to someone that I'd send a book out when I wasn't in the country. So I stayed well away, but I did order this one before my trip. I've seen a lot of people reading this lately. It says, this is the story of a murderer, a stolen child, revenge. This is the story of Ted, who lives with his young daughter Lauren and his cat Olivia in an ordinary house at the end of an ordinary street. All these things are true, and yet some of them are lies. An unspeakable secret binds the family together, and when a new neighbour moves in next door, the truth may destroy them all. Because there's something buried in the dark forest at the end of Needless Street, but it's not what you think, and I have no idea what to think, so I am very excited to pick this book up. I've talked about one book and I'm uncomfortable, so I've got a new tripod, I'm trying to work it out, but let me just change my seating arrangement. Okay, we're just gonna cope with this. I'm not quite sure what's happening here, but it's gonna do. So I now have 5 books that I picked myself up at charity shops in between my 2 trips. The first one being The Truth About Keeping Secrets by Savannah Brown. I don't know anything about this, but on the inside we have this little girl figure which says The Perfect Life or The Perfect Lie. And I'm not going to look more into this. I believe it is a YA thriller, and we're going to leave it at that. I want to know nothing. Next we have a book that Rachel read and hated, but I saw it in the charity shop and wanted to give it a go, and that is The Truance by Kate Weinberg, and it's giving me Normal People vibes. I think I'll like it, but Rachel hated it. It says Jess Walker is drawn into a tightly knit group of rule breakers in her first year of university and begins to experiment with a new version of herself. But the dynamic between the friends and their maverick professor begins to darken as they share secrets, lovers, and finally a tragedy. Soon Jess is faced with the question she fears most: what is the true cost of an extraordinary life? I think it sounds fun. I'm going to give it a go. We then have one I've never heard of, but it's short and I think I'm going to like it. It is Tin Man by Sarah Winman. I don't know why this name sounded so familiar to me then, but all it says on the back is it begins with 2 boys, Ellis and Michael, who are inseparable. And the boys become men, and then Annie walks into their lives and it changes nothing and everything. It is a little short book. It sounds like it's going to be an interesting time, and yeah, I wanted to give it a go. The next one I got from the charity shop was also inspired by Rachel, and that is Some Kind of Wonderful by Giovanna Fletcher. I have read 2 Giovanna Fletcher books, Billy and Me and Walking on Sunshine. I read Walking on Sunshine more recently and didn't actually love it, but I do like Giovanna's writing. I enjoyed Billy and Me, so I wanted to give another of her books a go, and I found this one for about 50p. So there we go, another G book that hopefully I'm gonna like. And the final charity shop book is 3 Things About Elsie by Joanna Cannon. I couldn't leave this book. It's a naked hardback with the Battenberg cake jigsaw kind of design on the front, and I thought it looked so interesting. I've also heard that Christina loves this book, and I remember her talking about it, so I wanted to grab it. And the writing is huge on the pages, so I decided this was worth the 50p, and it's going to look cute on my shelves until I find time to read it. I then bought 2 books myself in other situations, which I'll now go through. The first one being The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I ordered this from Book of the Month and picked it up when I got to America, ordered it to Cole's house, and oh, I just found my bookmark, nice. I have read this book and I have controversial opinions, so I won't discuss them right now, but I have added this book to my collection, and yeah. I guess just a big tip, if you're not in the US and you're going to the US, that lots of booktubers have discount codes for Book of the Month, and you can use them if you have a US address, so sorted. And the final book I got for myself is We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix, which I picked up when I went to Barnes & Noble. So I couldn't leave Barnes & Noble without buying a book, and I had no idea what to get, so I leapt on a Grady Hendrix. I have never seen this one in print. I've seen it online, and it's supposed to look like a Rolling Stone magazine. I know nothing about it. I've not even read the book. I just know that I seem to love getting Grady Hendrix books and hopefully reading them eventually. Okay, and the very, very exciting portion of this video is Christmas presents. I have been blown away with the amount of love I've received from you guys, and yeah, I can't thank you enough. I don't even know what to say at this point. You know I get too emotional when I get gifts, and Christmas was no different. So I have a lot of things to talk through. The first one being a gift from Chelsea, and that was Stolen by Lucy Christopher. I will just read the back of this one because it's very short, and that's all I had to read to be obsessed with the idea of reading this book. I just need to finally pick it up. I say finally, I got it last month. What am I saying? Anyway, it happened like this. I was stolen from an airport, kidnapped, taken from everything I knew, everything I was used to, imprisoned by sand and heat, dirt and danger, and he expected me to love him. This is my story, a letter to my captor. I think it sounds amazing, and I can't wait to pick it up. Next, I have a gift from Joe, who got me On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean... Oh, I heard Leah pronounce this. Vyong? I really feel like I've got that wrong. But I know next to nothing about this, apart from the fact that Leah read it and absolutely loved it. I think it made her #1 book of the year. I have watched that video and it was up there. But it says, this is a letter from a son to a mother who cannot read. Written when the speaker, Little Dog, is in his late 20s, the letter unearths a family's history that began before he was born. It tells of Vietnam, of the lasting impact of war, and of his family's struggle to forge a new future. And it serves as a doorway into parts of Little Dog's life his mother has never known. Episodes of bewilderment, fear and passion, all the while moving closer to an unforgettable revelation. I've heard amazing reviews and I hopped on the hype train. So thank you, Joe, for enabling me to get on the hype train. Next, we have a gift from Marlene, and that is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I'm so excited to read this one. I seem to love Riley Sager books. I don't think I've given any of them below 4 stars, and this was the next one I needed to add to my collection. I won't read the back of this one, but it does seem very, very similar to The Haunting of Hill House. I believe, or at least the TV show that has been brought out based on The Haunting of Hill House. Just some sort of spooky estate, Bainbury Hall, where there were a family flee in the dead of night, and for some reason they have to go back, and it looks like so much fun. So thank you, Marlene, for getting me this one. Next up, we have a gift from Nina, which I was just so excited to get my hands on finally, and that is American Predator by Maureen Callahan. I have wanted this for the longest time. I added it to my wish list after listening to a podcast about this serial killer, and then the blurb of this tells me exactly what I thought. It says, most people have never heard of Israel Keyes, yet he's the most ambitious and terrifying serial killer in modern history. And I don't even remember what he did. I remember listening to the podcast, finding it so interesting, knowing I needed this book, and then it says most people have never heard of him. And yeah, because I've learnt about it and I've forgotten. So I can't wait to dive on into this one myself. It is the hunt for the most meticulous serial killer of the 21st century, and I think it's going to be great. Next, we have a gift from the lovely Jenny, who got me Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I am lapping up Colleen Hoover books. I just need them all in my possession. I have read Verity and It Ends With Us, which are my top 2 favourite books of 2022. of 2021. I'm already getting the year wrong. I have read All Your Perfects, which I didn't like as much, so I'm hoping that I do like Colleen Hoover's backlist stuff. Saying that, It Ends With Us is much more backlist than Verity, I presume. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, apart from thank you so much, Jenny, for this book, and I can't wait to read more Colleen Hoover. I believe this is more a stereotypical romance. We have hearts get infiltrated, promises get broken, rules get shattered, love gets ugly. So much more typical than like Verity, which is a thriller romance, but I am assuming this is going to be great. Next, I have some gifts from the lovely Laura. The first one she got me is The Furies by Katie Lowe. This is a dark academia, I believe. It says quiet, artistic, unremarkable. When invited to an advanced study group by her lowering art teacher, Annabelle, she is at once terrified and delighted. There she meets Robin, Grace and Alex, charismatic outsiders who invite her into their clique. But once the study sessions on the school's history of 17th century witchcraft and magic become more than just theory, Violet must decide what she's prepared to do in order to stay popular. So a witchy dark academia? I think it sounds like a great time, and I've heard great things. And the second book from Laura, which, oh my god, I keep reading the blurb of this and just falling in love again, is All This Time by Mickey Daughtry and Rachel Lippincott. Rachel Lippincott being the author of one of my favourite books of all time, 5 Feet Apart. But this is about Kyle and Kimberly, who are the perfect couple. At least that's what Kyle always thought. But when Kimberly breaks up with him on the night of their graduation party, Kyle's entire world is turned upside down, literally. Their car crashes, and when Kyle wakes up, he has a brain injury, and Kimberly is dead. No one in his life could possibly understand. Until Marley. Marley is suffering from her own loss, a loss she thinks was her fault. As Kyle and Marley's feelings for each other grow stronger, Kyle can't shake the sense that he's headed for another crashing moment just as soon as he started to put his life back together. And I think that sounds absolutely amazing. There is somebody stood outside my window. Why does this always happen? First video filmed back after my break and there is someone out there. Next up, I have some presents from Emily, who the first one got me The Hand, the Eye and the Heart by Zoe Marriott. This is actually a copy that we found when we were together and it is signed, which is pretty cool. But I have not heard any good reviews of this book after saying that I got it in a vlog. I believe it's a Mulan retelling and I just haven't heard any good things. So if you have a good review of this book, can you please let me know? Because I'm getting scared. The second book she got me is The Last Woman to be Hanged, the Ruth Ellis story by Robert Hancock, and I cannot wait to read this one. I actually looked into this woman's story a few days before Emily got me the book. It says, in July 1955, Ruth Ellis was sentenced to death for the shooting of her lover, motor racing driver David Blakely. Barely 3 months later, she was executed at Holloway Prison. Meticulous and fair in its analysis, The Last Woman to be Hanged is an absorbing portrait of the tragic life of a young woman, a vivid snapshot of an era and a gripping account of a notorious case that shocked the nation. And I think it sounds like a very, very good time. Well, a very intense, disturbing time, but a good time nonetheless. Next, I have a gift from the lovely Rhiannon, who got me The Serial Killer's Wife by Alice Hunter. This sounds so good. I immediately bought a copy for Cole's stepmom because she thought it sounded amazing. And I've picked it for Victoria's TBR for January, which is why I even knew what this was. It doesn't get a lot of hype, but I think it sounds amazing. But this is about Beth and Tom, who are married. And then Beth gets a knock on the door from the police. She fears the worst. And yeah, the police are telling her that her husband is a serial killer. And they're saying he's a monster, and they're saying she knew. Gripping page turner, rated 5 stars by readers. I want to know who these readers are. If you've read this and you loved it, let me know. I think it sounds amazing. So thank you again, Rhiannon. Getting closer. Next we have Perfect on Paper by Sophie Gonzalez, which was a gift from Liam. So thank you again, Liam. I haven't actually read any Sophie Gonzalez yet, which I think the only one I have is Only Mostly Devastated, which now I'm saying that may be her only other book. I don't think it is. No, If This Gets Out is another one. But yeah, I have not read any Sophie Gonzalez yet, but I've heard amazing, amazing things. I won't read the full back. There is a decent amount of information, but I believe it is a YA contemporary about, well, I was gonna say somebody who's perfect on paper, but isn't. But yeah, I guess that must be the synopsis of the book. So thank you again, Liam, for getting me this one. I am so grateful and can't wait to read it. I think it's gonna be a very quick but gripping book. I don't know where I've pulled that from. I think it will be though. Next, I have a present from Becca, who got me The Princess and the Fangirl by Ashley Poston. This is the second book in the Once Upon a Con series, the first one being Geekerella and the third one being Bookish and the Beast. I have both of those, but I didn't have this one. This is about Imogen, who is an ordinary fangirl on an impossible mission to save her favourite character, Princess Amara, from being killed off in the Starfield movie sequel. And then we have Jessica, who is the actress playing Amara, who wants to leave the franchise. So I'm going to assume that, well, you know, they have differing interests, but they're going to meet up and have a little romance, I presume. So thank you again, Becca, for this one. Nearly there now, guys. We have my final gift from Book Related People, which is Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey, which I was gifted by Paige from Pages with Paige. I was so grateful to get this one. I opened it before going away on my trip and made sure I fit it in my bag because I had to take it with me and read it for Christmas, and I enjoyed it so much I brought it back so that I can read it again next year. Well, this year, we're in 2022. But this is about, what is her name? Stella? I want to say Stella. It is Stella. Stella, who is standing in front of the window of Vivant. I feel like you have to say it with an accent, but Vivant. And she doesn't like their Christmas display, and she's kind of stood there with a look on her face that says she doesn't like it. And Aidan comes over, who is actually the general manager of the store. He basically offers her a position to redress the windows, and there's a bit of a romance there. I won't go too much into a review of it because I have read it, so you'll get that in my wrap up. But I did enjoy this book, and I think it's going to be a lovely thing to revisit next year. And now that my feet have gone completely numb and I am out of focus again, the final book present I have is The Murder of Graham Catton by Katie Lowe, the second Katie Lowe book in this haul, which was a gift from my parents. I haven't really heard anything about this. I believe Rhiannon had an e-arc of it, but I could be completely wrong. But something about it just really drew my attention. This says, 10 years ago, Hannah Catton's husband was brutally murdered in their home. The murderer was convicted, the case was closed. But now a podcast called Conviction is investigating this horrific crime, and they have Hannah in their sights. Someone knows more than they're letting on, and listeners are about to become judge, jury and executioner as they uncover the truth about the murder of Graham Catton. I really like the idea of podcasts in books, so that is what really drew me into this. And this hardback is just absolutely gorgeous. So that is the last book on this haul. I can't even try and pick all these books up to show you, but just as you can now see, as well as me telling you, I was absolutely spoiled in December by you guys and by myself. So thank you again to anybody who sent me a gift, and especially those ones that I got in January, and you need to wait a teeny tiny bit to see them in my haul. So thank you to absolutely everybody. Let me know if you've read any of these books and have very strong opinions. I would love to talk to you in the comments about them. But on that note, thank you very much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!